Hey, hey, Poodle family, here we go again. Time for our weekly hangout. Oh, that was so great. The video over here was only 8 seconds off. We are ready to roll today. Rolling solo again, but special announcement. We've got a return guest next week. Yeah, I was gonna save it to the end. We're gonna say it. Sasha's gonna be back. All right, we're going to do great. We're going to have that next week. And this week, I am rolling solo because I actually, I've been talking about recently just some things that have, hey, everybody there. Good to see you all. I love the banter on the chat. It's like my favorite thing to see. So hopefully this time I'm only a few seconds off and I can read it and we can have a nice little interaction together. So the last few weeks, let's see, I've had lights go out on me, people walking in and, all kinds of stuff like that. So, but today, here's the thing, what we're doing. We are going to be talking about just some other things I heard people say. Remember the last time when I was talking about, kind of how to go wrong with your investing? Well, something else happened today. Yeah, it will be an hour-long show. Something else happened to me this week. And okay, so I follow this Facebook group, okay? And it's got way too many people in there and way too many people who have no idea what they're doing. And so I just like to read the comments just for the advice given to people because it's hilarious. It really is. So here's what made me think about what to talk about today. Someone posted, and maybe y'all saw this, I don't know. They said, okay, go with me on it. You invest, you buy something at 60 and you sell it at 70, but then you had to rebuy it at 80 and then sell it at 90. And they were asking, okay, so how much money have you made or lost? And to watch everybody do simple math was just hysterical. Okay, if you buy at 60 and sell at 70, you made 10. If you buy at 80 and then sell at 90, you made 10. You made 20 profit, right? But people were going into, but then if you sell and then you buy again and then you've lost this, it was hilarious. And so it got me thinking and having a conversation with people just in the office again, who we were talking about, how to invest and start and to think about how you should best manage your tokens and how to even manage your money. Let's just say even in general investing or whatever. And so I really think it's interesting how many people throw Economics 101 out when they start talking about cryptocurrency. It's as if we've built this castle of this brand new economy, but we forgot about economics. Am I right on this? And so when you hear people say you should, what you're going to buy at and what you should sell at and what you should do, well, it's pretty simple. If you're in it to make money, you sell when it's more than you bought it for. And that equals profit. And if you are in it for the ride, you don't even look at the chart. If you're in it for the long term, you don't even look at the chart because you know that long term, everything is going to come out okay. And that is how it's going to work, right? We talk about certain tokens are meant to, are meant to hold. And Poodle is exactly that. We are one that's here for the long term, okay? And so as I'm having this conversation with my team, it was so interesting how every time I had to say something, it was literally, you only make money when it's worth more and when you sell it. And if it drops and you don't sell, you actually haven't lost anything. And so I started pulling and I actually opened up the Poodle chart. And here was the best part is you've seen how we've been doing. We've actually been really solid and just knocking out very, very stable numbers lately. There was a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of confusion. We went from V1 to V2, all these things that went on. But right now we have been so solid. And so that really gave me an opportunity to show, if you take the chart and you were to go, okay, 1 day, 1 hour looks crazy. Okay. If you then take it to 1 week, then to 2 weeks, then you take it to a month, and then you take it to, well, we don't quite have a year of a token yet. But as you start to do that, I'm going to give some, this is why I almost titled this, but I figured something I don't know. Okay. If you're going to have one takeaway from this show, it's this: when in doubt, zoom out. Period. When in doubt, zoom out. Look at the big picture, okay? You don't buy your house, you don't buy anything to where you, to look at it as what's going to happen tomorrow. Now, there are day traders, there are people who try to flip. By the way, I suck at that. I have tried to do the quick flip on tokens and to see if I can get in early and then flip it. I suck at it. I'm giving it up. I think I made money on one of them, I think. And I lose every other time. But here's why. Because the quick fix, the quick flip, goes against every economic principle there is, right? If you remember the Ponzi schemes, some of us who are old enough to remember the good old Madoff Ponzi schemes that came out, what used to happen is there was a time where people, went through these, penny stocks, right? If you could buy a stock at a penny, and you sold it at 2 pennies because, 1 penny of a change, right? We see Amazon go up and down and Google go up and down day in, day out, right? And so you think, okay, well, how easy is it for one thing to start at a penny and then maybe go to 3 pennies, right? And you've tripled your money and you try to sell. Well, the problem is everyone who bought into that then had the Ponzi schemers take all their money and bail off to the Cayman Islands, right? With all their money. Well, that's the whole thing is, actually, almost all day traders get wrecked in this. It's not, and crypto is so much more just unpredictable, right? Things can flip in a minute, not within a day. You don't have times where things trade over the course of ring the bell and then it closes again. How many times have you gone to bed and then you wake up and go, what the hell just happened? Either something shot up, it shot down. But then if you look at the same time again, usually 24 hours later, everything has kind of averaged out, right? That's why when you look at, you're looking at the charts, you'll notice that there's always what's happening over 24 hours, right? That's actually a good thing. You can start to see how things have kind of increased over time. And that's really the key to how we want to look at this. So back to when in doubt, zoom out. When you want to look at a token, here's what we want to understand, right? Which was actually great. There was a conversation on our Telegram. Hopefully you're all on the Telegram. I can't wait till our school semester gets a little more in and I can get much more involved in it. But there was a good conversation about what we show for the value, and because there's different, whether where it's traded actually has a different value, and so we average it out. All that we should get Moose to explain some of that again, and all of that, or maybe I'll throw that up to Sasha next week to explain a little bit of that. But the thing is that when you start to look at the value of something, you want to understand your total value. And the total value actually has to do with even your tokens, right? We're the only thing. Do you understand? Let's pretend the value never changed. Let's say we stayed at 20, right? Let's say we stayed at 20, kind of where we've been hanging out lately. Well, if volume happens and your token count increases, guess what? You've made money, right? And that's your zoom out. You don't have to look at just a chart. You can look at your chart plus how many tokens you have. As you start to get distribution and that goes up, you're actually going to increase. And that's exactly the way we want to see this, and the way we want to see our investments working, right? Think of it this way. One of the best ways to make some money on a stock is a stock split. Well, that's the beauty of Poodle. Every single time someone buys or sells, it's like a stock split happened, right? And in fact, a two-way stock split. One, because some tokens get burned, so that makes it more scarce. Two, you get more tokens. Now you have more value. That's huge, right? So when you end up looking at our value and our total, a total account over time, zooming out also means looking at your big picture. Where did your token count go? Did your token count also go up, even though value maybe stayed the same, and then value go up or down? And that's really the key. And so one other point I'm going to make, we might do a short show today. I don't know, unless you want to do, we can do an AMA. I mean, I'm only eight seconds behind. We could do it. Ask me anything. I'm happy, But one other point I want to make is someone asked me, so they asked me, okay, you're into this whole crypto thing. How much money do I need to invest? What do you mean? How much money do I need to invest? For what? Well, you hear if I would have bought Bitcoin at whenever years back, then I would be a millionaire. And then if I would have bought XYZ, I would have been a millionaire. If I would have known about Apple when it came out, I would have been a millionaire by buying a couple of stock. Well, let's be honest. You will never make money unless you invest enough for it to be turned to a profit, right? If you think that you're going to get that $100 makes you millions, you have to be ready to sit for the long run. The problem is those who want to put in $10 expect it to be 10 million overnight. But I guarantee you something. Those who are willing to invest $1 million are going to be happy with it being $1.5 million in 5 years. It's investment mentality, right? Everyone who is never willing to put an investment, either in money or sweat equity, are always the ones who are wondering why their investment hasn't quadrupled, 10 times billion, 100x. Hey Rose, Wind Moon, right? They're always the ones that are complaining about this. And this is the same thing that I see when, we got a question. That's be good. I'll get to that in a second there, Al. What we always see is that those who want to, as I said, who think, how much should I put in? I'll tell you what, put in as much as you feel like you would invest. If you're putting, 10% or 5% into your, IRA and your 401k every month, then why don't you take that same thing and put it into a cryptocurrency? I'll do a whole other episode, maybe at one time, on how to diversify. This is a POODLCAST, so obviously majority goes in Poodle, but there are ways to actually be, to invest well and think about, and I think I talked about this before, recognizing that Poodle is based on Binance and, ETH and all this stuff that kind of rolls on one another, something else that we should revisit in a future episode. But what you want to think of is the more you invest, the more you have a long-term mindset, the more you're going to actually increase, right? And that is really the key. And here's the difference. It's going to be like any other thing you invest in. If you buy a normal stock, you don't expect it to go up double overnight. You just don't. You buy a stock and you put it in your portfolio. You see it grow over time. This is exactly how we should look at our cryptocurrency. And what I believe the biggest killer, which is what I see in that Facebook group all the time, is Wind Moon. It is the biggest killer to us actually establishing ourselves as a real currency. And thankfully at Poodle, we don't do it very often. We're very good at seeing the reality of a long-term investment. And I'm going to do some teasers. I'm not going to say what they are, but some teasers. We have more utility coming out with Poodle. When I posted the title list, Tell Me Something I Didn't Know, and I started getting a few teasers given to me about ways we're going to turn this token into more of a utility, giving it more value and ways to use it. We've talked about being able to have this be something you could, pay in, which is part of the reason we dropped the tax rate, so you could use it more as a currency. Those are the long-term investments that we want to make sure that we're always thinking about. So In conclusion, tell you something I didn't know. Long-term mindset. That's it, right? Stop, as I mentioned. We need to stop thinking, oh, it looks like I might have had a little glitch. Uh-oh. Hopefully we're not glitching here. Uh-oh. I feel like we're... there we go. I saw it. I saw us pausing, so hopefully we're okay. But what we want to make sure of is that we still have a idea that when you are investing, you're investing like any other thing, right? This is where Poodle is very, very different than a lot of the other cryptos that you see out there. Half the time when you see a new something on, especially on Binance Smart Chain, where they are trying to get you to bite, right? If you hear about what's the new one that's coming out and they want you to go buy 10 billion right now because it's going to be worth something, odds are you're going to get taken. It's a penny stock all over again. And this is where we as Poodle have done a great job of making sure that we do not have that mindset, that we have the mindset that when you put your $100 in right now, you are going to end up getting the same return as if you would have invested into, I'm not going to go as crazy as a Bitcoin, from years ago, but you will have a long-term investment. And that's the key, because I guarantee you half those on the smart chain will not be around, but we will. And that's the biggest difference. So, all right, back up to the question here. Have you ever had FOMO and bought something you regretted? Oh, hell. Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. And I think I told this story back on episode 1. I got into Poodle really early, and it was really my first kind of jump into the non-traditional coins, right? And so, and it did really well, right? Because I got in so early, and then we did the split and all this stuff, and it just shot up, and that was like, and it was like, oh my gosh, that means every one of these does this, right? Okay, so if it worked on Poodle, so I'm going to go grab this other one, and I saw with some other token, I'd gotten like 6 days past or whatever, especially very early on, there was a lot of conversation about what the next one was. And I bought in. I think I tried like 10 different ones where I was like, okay, I can't miss this one too. Can't miss this one. I lost every single time. I think there's only 2 that I hold in my wallet where I also bought in, and they ended up, at least giving me something, having money's worth. And the only one that I haven't been upset with is Poodle, because of the roadmap, because we keep growing the brand, because we can keep investing in ways to make this a crypto of the future, a token of the future. So yes, absolutely. I FOMO. I'm not going to lie. I FOMO all the time. I think we all do. The hardest part is actually holding back and going, okay, I'm not going to do this one. I'm not going to do this one. And, early learning curves. And I think now everyone probably goes through it, because you see when the wind moons, don't miss this. Everybody's doing it. And they get on the Telegram and they start their little early Telegram, and they all of a sudden, get the chatter going on Twitter, and you think you're missing out on something. And that is such a killer. That I'm pretty good at not giving into. In fact, I don't think I've bought any of the other junk coins recently. Every now and then I'll try something fun, but you know what? Once this podcast started 14 weeks ago, I actually think I've only invested in Poodle. I'm going to have to look back, but I think the only thing I've bought more of is Poodle in the last 14 weeks. I guess, wow, that's actually interesting. I'm going to have to see that. So, all right. We're doing an AMA. So here we go. We're going to do a few more questions. We go, oh yes, canines for kids. That's awesome, Sasha. I can't wait. Kristen was so great. Let's see, Poodle and D and the one. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, we have not been screwed over. At least didn't buy mini football. Oh boy. Yeah. Boy, there's a little of everything out there, isn't there, that you can lose money on? There's so many tokens and coins you could lose money on, but this is the great thing about Poodle is the way we're going. So that being said, everybody, we'll call this a short one today. We will. I wanted to get that point out about just, again, something you didn't know. When in doubt, zoom out. When you get, and actually, here, see, I'm really bad at ending a show, because every time I start ending it, I have something else to say. What about when you talk to other people about why? Why would I get into Poodle? Why would I want to invest in this stuff? Why would I move out of Bitcoin and ETH and all these things and go try a meme token that isn't Doge? Why would I do that? I think what we need to start to do, and here's the thing, go to the website. You're going to see, if you haven't been to the website lately, and I'm going to bring it up right now. Do you know what there's a new of? There's a new white paper. Okay. This token is so much about growing and changing. So we have a new white paper up there. Make sure you see it. You see what we've done, the direction we're going in, everything, how the tokenomics works, and what you can point them to is that there is actually an economic plan, right? This is the thing that I think we need to understand and tell people. Cryptocurrency's biggest killer is that it acts like it's not an economic system. And it is. We have to treat our token just like any other economic investment. And when we do that and we build the brand, which we've talked about, building the brand, we've had whole episodes on what you can do to get out there and shill. But when we treat our investment that way, when we treat it just like we were holding Amazon stock on day one, because I guarantee you this is going to be the same type of thing if you give this a 5-year look. You start to do that. Thanks for the passion comment. When you start to do that, and if every holder, all of our 50,000 plus holders, I know it's 30,000 on BSC scan, and plus who knows how many private ones. When you start to look at it that way, and we all start treating this like you would if you were holding Amazon or Apple on day one, if you'd have got that IPO, and we all treated it this way, and we educate people to look at cryptocurrency this way, then you will stop seeing people lose money because they sell on the way down. You will see people stopping FOMO. Like, is FOMO good if we wanted to pump this up and get people afraid, hey, don't miss out, make sure you buy? Sure, absolutely. You want people to buy. And sadly, a lot of people buy because of FOMO. But the fact is, if we educate people that this is a long-term investment, they will actually have that mindset. If you make people FOMO in, they will start to think, wait, how come I haven't made 10x, 100x, 1000x right now? Here's one place where we're actually better than a penny stock. If we've got 6, 7 zeros, 8 zeros, a billion zeros that you start with when you're investing, you actually don't have to cut off very many in order to really, really make a profit. But what we do need to do is put in equity. We have to put in that hard-earned work to grow this brand together. Treat it like an investment. When in doubt, zoom out. And just recognize that we are always here as a group and as a community. And we have the best community of any other altcoin out there. I'll go for any token out there. We have a killer community that's there to build upon one another, educate one another. And that's the key, right? Educate. Treat this as a group investment, and we're all going to get there. So with that being said, this time I'm really ending the show. We've been in there. How long? We've been in there for a good time is it? Hey, I hit my average. See? All right. We're going to see you next time. VIP guest next time. And then we're going to go back to some community members that I have lined up. So life's going to be back to normal. Get some more interviews, get some good things. Side note, lots of good things coming down the line. I saw the teasers. I can't wait to share them with you. Go check out the website. Go out on Twitter. Make sure you shill it. Go educate yourself again with the new white paper, okay? Really understand how the economics of this works so that you can talk to people intelligently and we can grow our investor base that way. So it's wonderful. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next time.